Are we ready? What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Box Office Banter. And we are about to talk about Pineapple Express, but before you do that, hold that phone.
That was a terrible fucking
Yeah, I don't know
phone
what just happened
ring.
right there.
Either. I wasn't expecting that.
It happened. It was authentic as we talk about authenticity. But do you want to talk about the banter buddy of the week, Josh?
Yeah, I'll talk about it. Our banner buddy of the week is Bethany Kuiman.
Is that how you pronounce her name?
I
I was like,
she's my cousin.
That fucked me up, dude. I was like, really? This whole time?
Bethany Kuiman, she gets banner buddy of the week. She kind of started a new trend in the Facebook group. She started Female Fridays. So
Man Mondays.
Brandon's like, well, fuck it. We're doing Man Mondays. So, yeah, we got those two new little hashtags going in the group. So, shout out to her. She's getting banner buddy of the week this week.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely beautiful decision on your part, Bethany. If I had to say, we're talking about Pineapple Express here, so
Rodney, you look very disappointed. Let me know how disappointed you are.
You good?
Come on, man.
Yeah.
Not to talk about the Cardinals over here, but no, that's the
Express.
Falcons. Rise up. Yeah.
The beginning's pretty hysterical.
Yeah.
With,
Only the beginning.
so
huh?
The beginning's pretty hysterical
Starts
with
off
the
in 1937, black and white.
And
Bleep, bleep, blurp,
what
blurp.
is it? It's Bill Hader.
Bill Hader.
Is,
What's his name in the movie?
Yeah, Colonel Stevenson.
Private
Private
Miller.
Miller. Oh yeah, it was. Yeah.
It's my
That's what
uncle
I'm
from back
talking
in the
about.
day.
Oh nice. How's he doing?
He's dead.
Oh,
that's
well,
right. Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Yep,
No
sad,
bueno.
sad day.
No
So
bueno.
yeah, that scene is pretty funny though. He's like the whole.
How do you feel? What does he say? He asked him how he feels, like a
slap of
butter
flapjacks.
melted
A
big
pile
old pile of flapjacks.
Right back at.
Kills me.
Hey, dude, what's wrong with your eye? Just always comes back that. And might I say, he does the best your dick, my mouth impression I've
Killed me.
ever seen. Like, had to have done that at least once before. And what about Dexter's dad, dude?
Yep,
He
I
made an
wrote that
appearance.
down as well. I didn't realize that.
I had to
always hated
jump in on
scream.
that.
It always annoyed the shit out of me.
Okay, so that is for the opening.
By the way, he's
opening.
raiding too.
He's Raiden, yes, from Annihilation.
Yes.
I thought you said rating. Like he was going to give a rating for this movie as well.
I was like,
Oh,
damn,
no,
you
he'll be
jumping,
here.
What?
you jumping
Yeah.
in late.
Where'd you meet him?
But the actual opening, dude, that comes in after the pre-opening, if you will, the fucking I
In the
wanna
car.
rock down to Electric Avenue. Oh my God, what a perfect opening for that. That song just set the motherfucker off, dude. He's over there talking about if weed ain't legal by this time and all that.
Which it ain't.
Amazing. Yeah, but
it's
we're
getting
getting there. We're getting there, though. Even the Mexican guy that pulls up behind beside him, he's like, take that shit to the next level, right? That guy, like, I always thought that was a woman. Until, like, the fourth time I watched, I was like, that's a dude. And he's like, oh, yeah. That shit is fucking magical, dude. I mean, here's the real question, though. Processing and servicing people. That's probably a shitty job,
Yeah,
right? Like, what do
100%.
They get
do you,
shit on
that's
all day.
that's low key probably a terrible job. Like, do y'all think that would be a shitty job? 'Cause I feel like it's probably a
100%.
shitty job. No matter how much weed you get to smoke with it.
Yeah, they kind of make it look like a fun job in the movie, but in real life, I think it'd be terrible. You see after he process or serves somebody, they're always talking shit about him, like get a real job, you fucking prick, and like
Yeah.
Oh my God.
everybody would hate you that you meet throughout your day, and I think that would get old real quick.
Mm-hmm. And me and my brother, me and him watched it. Both of him, yeah. Dude, I stutter a lot, I found out. Both me and him have watched this movie so many times, and we were kind of like, how much of this could you get away with as somebody that serves people? I mean, I know you got to do disguises to some degree, but can you walk up in the middle of a doctor's office dressed up as a doctor? Like what? Where do you draw the line with that?
Did
would
you
be my
look it up?
question. I did not.
That's what Google's
You didn't do
for.
no research.
No, this was my question to you all. I didn't know if
Oh.
maybe y'all were like had
Yeah,
some
no, they're not allowed anywhere near surgeons. Period.
Is it?
yeah.
That's rule number
It's
one.
in their contract.
I figured as much, but at the same time, I was like, I mean, that is kind of a part of their job. Like, it's kind of one of those weird jobs where I'm like, they couldn't do that, but I'm also like, well, they kind of got to be the sky. They can't look like an obvious person coming up to serve you, and you know these people are trying to avoid it. So it's an interesting job, for sure.
Definitely.
But cut to the school and the chimp fuck.
The teacher, dude. What's his name?
Can't talk to me like that, guy.
I forgot his name, the actor's name, but
I forget
he
it, too.
plays that teacher
Oh.
perfectly
Oh,
in the fucking hallway.
dude, I mean, he fucking murders it, man.
So you don't got a name badge. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah. You don't go to like I don't go to school here, motherfucker. The fucking as we like. Can you really? Do you think you should be mad, as they call him in the movie, at Sporty Spice, the guy that did the great impressions
Of
of
Jeff
Jeff Goldblum and all
Made me
that?
pee my
You know,
pants.
time to suck today's dick. You know what I'm saying? All right, man. Woo, college. That guy, like, are you really supposed to be mad at that guy?
From Seth Rogen's perspective,
I think so. He
is that what
looks-
you're asking?
I guess, yeah. Like, but in a way,
Well,
he never
so it's-
really did anything.
So
but he
it's-
did, but he
it's coming
didn't.
from a sense of what's the word?
Gratitude.
Insecurity?
No, insecurity. Seth
Yeah.
Rogen's insecure with himself
Yeah.
because this dude's in shape. He's making his girlfriend
Well,
pee his pants from Jeff Goldblum.
Which he's like,
First,
Goldblum.
he's like what 30? We'll say he's like 30 years old, dating a eight.
yeah, even
a high
25.
schooler.
even talks to the
He
person on the
says
radio
he's
about it. Like, I
25.
think it's consensual.
Yeah, no, that's just weird. And that he shows up to the high school.
Yeah,
That's just weird.
It's all.
You
It's
can't
all
put
weird.
But it's all
an
in
age
comedy.
on love.
Yeah, or can we talk about the fucking line I say all the time, and I don't know why I can't help but say it. Like, I heard that, wish I didn't hear that, but I heard that. I say that nonstop, and it's because of this movie, and I don't know why. And 95% of people are like, okay, you kind of extended that right there, and then the other 5% are like, yes, you've seen it. And I'm like, I've seen it. Yeah, I had to let that one ride. Can we also talk about how Saul is like the best fucking character ever, dude?
Yeah.
I love
He's
Saul.
He
amazing.
plays a drug dealer perfectly. James Franco, he nails it to a T.
When
See, you
when they
feel
were
bad
when
for
they
him,
were
too.
making this movie, they had the roles swapped. Seth Rogen was going to play Saul, but then they switched it.
They're like,
and
hold
it's
on.
such a great
Great
move
call.
that they
Yeah.
switched it
Yes,
because it would not
absolutely.
be near as good as it is.
Well, yeah, I've heard Rogan even talk about this, man, where he said that essentially, like, a lot of people like James Franco, like, that's not a funny guy, but they were like, we've been around James. They're like, we knew he was a funny guy.
Oh,
And I think that kind of led to that, where they were like, let's just kind of call him in for a normal role. You have to babysit a stoner. But then when he got there, he was like, okay, we know exactly what the fuck we're doing with this guy.
This
And,
movie opened him up for comedies.
Oh,
James
dude.
Franco.
Saul is one of my favorite comedic characters ever. Whether he's my favorite, I won't go there yet, future list, but
Oh.
he's
He's up there.
undoubtedly. And another thing with Saul, dude, when you first, kind of get to see him, he's like eating cereal and shit. This is something my buddy Blevins put me on to. As much as I've seen this movie, as much as I know it in and out, I never noticed when he does the first. I thought hurricane season was over, and he like puts on like deodorant while he's going in his room. What does he have on his bed? Have any of y'all noticed this? He's got
don't
like
think
a
mattress.
yes.
Sheets
Dude.
and pillow.
See, I did not notice that either. So you've seen it too.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. No, there's like a teepee in the middle of his bed. If you take your eyes off him like doing this, there's like a teepee and like little like trees around the teepee. And now that seems like okay, whatever. But if you've seen it's one of those awesome things you see on like the fifth time you watch it where you're like, what the fuck is that? And that's kind of what it is, because that means this dude got out of bed, built a teepee, and fucking put little trees around it. But like I think it's like a railroad track maybe. That's just what I've made out of it off the top of my head. It's like, this is who Saul is. This guy. because we know he's got a thing for civil engineers.
My
second
favorite civil engineer.
Yeah, M.M. O'Shaughnessy, who designed the old Golden Gate Bridge. My second favorite civil engineer. Yeah, that is one of my underrated lines that not enough people, I feel like, laugh at. Just the way he just says it. It's absolute perfection, dude.
So one of my favorite quotes from the movie is when Dale goes to buy weed from him. And he's talking about the Pineapple Express and how great it is. And he's like, not better than that Blue Oyster shit. And
I can't handle better than that Blue Oyster.
Saul goes, this is like if that Blue Oyster shit met that Afghan Kush I had and they had a baby. And meanwhile, that crazy Northern Light stuff I had and that Super Red Espresso Snowflake met and had a baby. And by some miracle, those two babies met and fucked. This would be the shit that they birthed.
So and this is the product of baby
fucking. Seth Rogen immediately said, that fucking kills me every time I watch this movie.
Smell it. You want to live in there? I sort of shove this up my nose all day.
It's like God's vagina, which goes deeper if you look at it, because the bag, the way they have it opened, is shaped like a vagina. When he pinches the bag to stick his nose in, it's kind of shaped like a vagina.
Oh my god! And don't forget,
there's so many deep things in this movie.
Yeah.
Don't forget about. He's just like he's talking about. He's like, you ever think about pulling the plug? I mean, if you got to.
Euthanasia?
He's like, you mean like euthanasia? He's just like on her. And he's just like, yeah, like if you had. He's got his like arm around him like that.
The picture's fucking hilarious too.
And he's just like, I don't want to open that could be a hole. And he's just like, it's all good. Stuff.
Dill's just trying to get out of there.
Yeah, dude, that's the biggest thing is he's trying so hard.
He just wants to get his weed and go.
And
but then as he's leaving,
those
the
guys.
cross joint.
Oh yeah,
cross joint. Okay.
And Saul's like, you're not gonna help me smoke it? He's like, I can't even light this thing by myself.
So he's like, all right, I'm in. Yeah, he's literally
Free
talking
weed.
about lingerers, man, and he's over there being a lingerer.
Yeah, those two guys come up. And he sells that one guy weed. And he's like,
no,
hey,
not
man.
weed, Snickle Fritz.
And the other guy's like, hey, man, you got any like Percocets?
What's
He's
a
like,
jeeber?
What the hell, man? You told him I sell Percocets? Like,
He's
get
got
out
the
of
rat
here.
tail going on.
Lingerers.
The way he like
Hey, what's a
punches
jeeber?
his shoulders over. Linger.
When he's sitting there talking to him about it, he's just like, so what's these people you do that you process and service?
Like
that whole scene, he's
like a butler.
Shine shoes.
Shine shoes. No, man, I give subpoenas.
He's like, oh well, I mean, all you do is sit around all day and smoke weed, man. Wish I had that. Like, you do have that. He's like,
Right.
Hey, thanks, man. And Saul's blank stares are life, dude. Just the way he just peers in the soul, dude. Like, he's legitimately like interested in what you're saying, and he's like, you can see in his eyes. They don't have to be the smile. He's just got like these kind eyes. Are just like, I'm really taking this in right now. I appreciate what you're saying, which makes you just care for the character so much. And then he's over there exaggerating. He's like, I'm over here like, oh, and he's like, oh, sucked on her titties. He's like, no, I just did that for effect. And he's just like, with all these guys who do great impressions of Jeff Goldblum and shit. He's like, man, fuck Jeff Goldblum, man. He's like, that's what I say. That's what I say.
The whole movie gets started whenever he sells Dale the Pineapple Express.
Yep.
And then Dale goes to smoke some, and I don't know why he parked where he parked. He
Because he had to serve him that.
Ted
Oh,
Jones.
my
Served
God.
him.
Yeah, he parked there, and then he's smoking.
What an adorable little cop.
And he sees a murder, and the way he escapes, he just throws the joint out, like backs up, hits a car, like everyone saw him, and then he gets to thinking like, oh my god, I gotta
Jones.
go.
He told
it's
him
Ted
Ted
Jones. I gotta go
Jones.
back to Saul's place. So he goes back, and he's like, they try to figure out like who all has it. He's like, no, man, it's just me. I gave you exclusive
So proud of
sneak.
it.
Yeah, he's like so proud that he only had
Sneak
the
preview.
Pineapple Express, and then Dell puts it together that they might find it and they might see that he witnessed the murder. He's like, we need to go grab everything, get some snacks, the fruit roll-ups, let's go. They grab everything,
Yeah.
and then they go into like like the woods to get away. And Dale's like, man, like how could they track us? And
Jumping way ahead.
and am I?
Well, hey, yeah, let me go back to when he first busts
Yeah.
in, a part that kills me. Dale's freaking out, and he goes, he killed him! A cop, a lady, and a guy! And Saul's like, that's a massacre!
He's like, I believe that's like a massacre.
That part kills me for some reason.
Yeah. Well, what about the lady? He's even asking. He's like, hold on. He's like, you threw him on the printer. Oh, fucking chicken fries. He's like, did you break it? I don't think so. That whole scene, he's like, well, the pie was spread. Yeah, all that. He's like, what? They saw you and you came here? And now he's fucking losing his mind, which led to what you were saying. And, you know, they do eventually break away, and then they're over here just like, you basically have my money. Like you have my money.
Yeah, like how much money do you have? It's like
what do you mean?
$67. And 60 of it was the 60 that he gave for the weed.
Yeah, I haven't smoked this yet, dude. And he's like, I wish we could just go nowhere. Then boom.
So then they go to the woods, and another line I love in the woods is Dale's thinking, and he says, how could they know where we are?
Yeah.
And Saul literally ponders and goes, heat-seeking missiles, bloodhounds, foxes,
barracudas.
Each one just got
He's like, I'm kind of flabbergasted when you say things like that.
And like, thank you. Not a compliment.
And then they're like, no. They're like, no, the phones. They can triangulate our signals. And so Dale Denton breaks his phone, and then
on a rock.
We're gonna smash it.
And then Saul just freaks out and throws it.
Whoa!
He's like, what was that for? He's like, I don't know. I got caught up in the moment.
I was trying to hit that tree.
Yeah.
What tree?
You know, I bet they can't even triangulate those things. And he's like, why don't you call it? He's like, with what? My phone has been smashed. He's like, oh, well, I didn't know. He's like, well, you were very convincing back there. Like, let's just find it. And he's like, okay.
Oh, dude, when they're in the woods.
He's like, nowhere in Quiznos.
What Saul freaks out, he goes, he like, what was that? And they take off running. And
like, come back to
right
me.
into the tree.
I went out of the
trips
start.
and hits his head straight
Oh,
on a rock.
Dude,
Yeah,
that looks so
hard
rough,
as
dude.
shit.
So brutal.
And then the trip down the hill, he goes, whoop, and he goes, one of the most, this is another underrated funny part to me. When Dale gets in the car, I don't know if y'all noticed this, he calls out like everything in this movie. Like in this scene in particular, he's like, car, now, drive. And he says shit before he does shit. And he goes into the car and he has that half a second to breathe. And then here comes Saul banging on the door and he's like, ah. And then Saul comes in and he's like, dude, just shut the fuck up, man. The way he reacts to that cracks me up every time. And then there's like that half second where they're like, okay, we can chill now. All right. You didn't see anything, fucking man. You didn't see shit.
Yeah, they sleep in the car, and then they wake up, and they're like, all right, we got to get out of here. And the car's dead. And Saul goes, man, the car committed suicide.
Talk radio.
What do you mean it's dead?
What do you mean it's dead? Yeah.
He's like, I mean, the car ceases to live. So he's
Yeah.
like, oh, man, talk radio. Even then, he's like, let's get the fuck out of here. He's like,
come on. Like, the
Right.
car's dead.
I don't know how else to explain this to you, Saul. The car needs a battery to live.
Going back just a little bit to when they're still in the
Hit 'em
woods, I believe Saul was on the phone.
Tied to a squirrel. We'll never catch an animal.
Saul was on the phone, and they just keep going back and forth between Saul and Dale. And Dale's like smoking, blowing the smoke.
Oh, motherfucker.
And that moth that flies at him was not planned. That was an actual moth that just flew. So he literally freaks out. That was all authentic. Like, that wasn't planned, but they loved it so much they kept it for the movie, and it works perfectly.
And we did talk about, too, Saul's just like, oh, man, you got me a hand job. It was like, I didn't even know your name. And he's like, imagine if I got you a hand job. He's like, why would I want to imagine that? He's like, no, if I like got you a hand job. That whole scene is so
that was
fucking
hilarious.
There's so much good shit to that.
yeah.
And Red wearing his Uggs. He's
hang on.
literally wearing Uggs like during the call in that scene. He's wearing the Uggs and he's fucking having the conversation. Matheson and all them are punking him out. And he's like, oh, just and they're all fucking talking over each other.
So,
Great scene on the other end, too.
something that cracks me up, and it's not one of those things like laugh out loud, but it's when you think about it. It's them falling asleep in the car, and then they wake up, and Dale goes,
Oh,
shit,
yeah.
we slept for like
18
18
hours. I
which is
love
hilarious
that.
because if you break it down, first of all, it'd be hard to sleep for 18 hours if you were exhausted. Like,
Yes.
that's exaggerated.
Yes.
2, you put on there the fact that they had somewhere to go the next day. If you know you got to be somewhere, it'd be hard to
Kick out of
oversleep,
sleep.
essentially.
Yeah.
Like, I wake myself up naturally if I know I got to be somewhere. 3, they have people out trying to murder them, and they still sleep for 18 hours in a car, not a
Sitting
bed.
straight
in a
up.
car. Like, you put all that together, him just saying, shit, we slept for like 18
and
hours.
And 4, it was daylight savings time.
Exactly.
So the
Cracks
time
me
went
up.
back.
So it
an
went
hour.
forward an hour. No, it went back. He's like, so it went back a fucking hour? That's not good.
4 fucking o'clock.
Yeah, that's always a low key scene. I crack the fuck up at too.
But when they go to Red's house to talk about him,
Oh my lord.
the whole interaction where Red's
hilarious.
just trying to like macho man Dale
up
and
here
stuff.
trying to get a motherfucking scholarship.
And he's like, Danny McBride's like, no, man, trust me. No one knows. I ain't saying nothing to nobody and stuff. And then they figure out, like, he is. And then that fight scene in the house.
Epic. I love
They're
that
throwing the
fight scene.
bongs at each other.
Yeah.
And
When
then
he
when
starts it off with an ashtray to the face,
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
like a frisbee.
Whenever they throw, I forgot who they throw. Was it Seth Rogen into the sink?
No, that was
That was
Red was behind
Red.
the door, and they knocked.
Red.
they
He's
knocked
like,
the
you gonna pay
door
for
down.
it?
Yeah, dude.
And his
That
whole head hits the.
that
ceiling.
was so
I-
brutal. It
I think
looked so real.
there's some crucial banter before the fight scene starts off though. Like Dale's over there reaching through the door and he's like, hold on, who the fuck is this? And Dale's reaching through the door and he's like, I'm Dale, and he's like, hey man, it's Saul. And Dale's like, I don't think I should give you my full name. Of course, Saul's like, this is Dale Ditton.
Yeah.
And he's over here just telling it straight up. And then little subtle things like how they were talking about, you shouldn't have fucked with that stripper, dude. And they're talking about
Yeah.
like
The
the
herpes.
herpes.
Lollipop out of
And then
his
he's like,
snatch.
yeah, and he's just like, and what'd you do? You ate the nerd rope out of a stripper's
box of nerds
butthole.
out of-
Yeah, and then of course, what does Saul say? You swore you wouldn't tell. You swore you wouldn't tell. You sold your own poison. They're there trying to make sure he doesn't tell, and he's over there fucking coming up with shit he shouldn't fucking say, and then making the cake for his cat. That shit, dude, literally, that might have been the hardest I've ever laughed at anything. I don't know if it's the funniest scene, but I remember being stoned and watching that for the first time, and just the way the banter between both of them. He's like, and every year on his birthday, I make him a cake. And he's like, I don't see a cat around here. And he's like, yeah, well, he died like you fucking asshole. And
3
he just-
months ago.
Yeah, he just goes on a roll with all that, dude.
Which him saying, go ahead.
No, you go
So
ahead.
him saying he died 3 months ago adds to a part a little bit later and makes it more funny when later on in the fight scene where
Oh my
Red's
God.
got Dale's feet, and then Saul comes over and hits him, I think, with the bong. So he lets go of Dale, and Dale goes
Samurai hit.
Dale goes into the cat litter, which still had cat shit in it. His cat died 3 months ago, and there's still cat shit in the litter box. And Dale goes face first into the cat litter.
What about when Danny McBride started trying to get hard in front of him, though? He was just like, he's like, you see this? He's like, makes me aerodynamic when I fight. It's not even what he says. It's Saul literally is just like, he's like pointing out his armpits while he's explaining it. Like that settles anything.
This movie is just so damn funny.
It's-
now that we're
movie.
talking about it more,
Dude, it never stops. It never lets
The
up.
thing with Pineapple Express and why I'll go ahead and say it's my favorite comedy is
Damn you.
every time I watch it, like different parts, I'll laugh harder at different parts every time. Like it's never the same couple parts that are meant to be funny or funny. It changes every time I watch it. I might find these parts more funny this time,
Yes.
but next time those aren't as funny because of the mood I'm in or what's going on in my life. These other parts are highlighted
Yes.
and are funnier. So the movie switches, and the whole movie from start to finish, it's fucking hilarious
I
to
like-
me. I'm cracking up the whole time.
Yeah, it doesn't stop. And what you were saying about Red hitting his head on the sink.
oh god,
That dude, that is the hardest hit
Dude, I've ever seen in a movie.
It goes, you gonna pay for it? One more, woo, and he goes dink and goes like limp.
it's
when he
so
does it.
damn
Like,
funny.
you're crushing my balls. You're crushing my balls. He's like, all right, time out. Time it. And he's like right back up.
They
That's one of the best. Honestly, put any fucking fight scene That is one of my favorite fight. Not technical, maybe not, but it's in terms of enjoyment. Like I'm loving what I'm seeing from a fight scene. That is one of my favorite fight scenes
Yeah.
in any fucking movie. The way they're walking up on each other. Seth Rogen's like this. The next he's like, "You're punching my bum. You're punching my bum." And his hand goes through it, and then he comes over and says, "This ends now." And another thing I left out, another low-key funny part that I feel like nobody talks about is when Red is hitting him with the little fucking vacuum thing.
Dustbuster.
Yeah, the dustbuster. When he says just like, he's like, "Red, what are you doing? We're friends." He's like, "I know we are. That's why this sucks." And he's beating the shit out of him. That shit is fucking priceless.
They
dude.
tie Red up with duct tape.
Another underrated funny moment.
And he's like, "Dude, I would never rat on you guys. I promise. I promise." And then they hear the door knock. It's Matheson and what the other guy's name? What is it?
Budlovsky.
Budlovsky.
Yep. What about him saying I'm gonna flex and bust out of
Oh,
here?
yeah.
That's like the best shit because of the concern on Saul's face. Like when he says, "I'm gonna flex and bust out of here," Saul's like looking at Dale like,
Can he do that?
"Like, is this a thing? Can we do that?" And he's like, "Trapped. What are you gonna do?"
Yeah, he's tied up, and Matheson and Budlovsky come to the door. He's like, "Go, guys, go out the back. I won't say
We
nothing."
can get 'em.
And as soon as they come in, they go, "He went out the back. You can catch him. Go, go, go."
It's perfect, dude. And Red, dude, when he's clowning on him, he's just like, he's talking about like Matheson. I ain't seen British Knights on nobody since. He's clowning. When he gets shot, he's like, "Woo!" He lets out the funniest like scream, and then out of nowhere, while they're talking amongst themselves, he's just like, comes right back to
Dude,
It's like,
Red
what?
suffers so much damage in this
He's
movie.
like,
It's
"How you
hilarious.
shoot me? Had you over for dinner last week? Fish tacos." Come on.
What about whenever Dell has to go to Amber Heard's
Angie,
her dinner with her parents?
which he totally forgot about.
Yeah, he shows up all, high and like
Late as
way
fuck.
underdressed,
dirty,
late,
bloody.
It's great.
and then like he's trying to be professional, and then he starts telling them like the guys are after him. It's
he's
such
like, "I bird
and then
watch."
the-
I don't. He immediately backs out of it.
it's such a funny scene.
I love the older guy too, and he's
The
just
dad.
like, he's just like, I don't know
Dad
what's going.
kills it.
Yeah, he
He's
just murders
still-
it.
for
He's
that-
like, "Look, I don't know where he's at right now, but I got to eat some food." And they like start talking. He's just like, "I'm just saying, if y'all ain't gonna y'all can be all happy with y'all's like nice and like
Clean
complete,
plates.
clean plates, but like I'm gonna be eating some food and I'm gonna check my laptop."
He says, "I'm gonna take you in the living room.
Yeah, Dell.
Check my emails."
Yeah.
Dell's
that
like,
shit's
"We gotta
great.
get out of here," and he goes and he gets in their garage and he gets in their car, and the dad's like, "Get out of my car."
Yeah, like,
believe you
what?
even
I even thought
think
that was
that
an
would be an
option. That garagely like looks to the left. Dude, it's perfect. And then he's just like, "I'm the good drug dealer." He gets stabbed with a fork. He's like, "I'll fuck you in the street." And he's like, "Don't fuck us anywhere." That whole shit is fucking amazing.
And then they're just making their way, and then they sell weed to those little kids to make some money.
oh man,
Before that, another one of my favorite little lines, to when they're sitting in the tree and they're talking and
about a sack.
yes,
Yeah,
that
that's
too. But
funny,
right
too.
before that, Saul goes.
Popped.
They always say, "Don't dip the pen in company ink." I'm totally glad I dipped in your ink, bro.
Yeah, 100%.
Cracks me up. And then they're talking about money, and
What
Dale
about
goes,
your sack?
"What about
Like,
your
"Oh, I
sack?"
think it's bad. I think I popped one." And he's like, "No, that's unfortunate, but
That kills me too.
yeah, that's great." They
But
sell
yeah.
the kids, and then you get the black cop that comes in, and she's just like thinking she shut the shit down. She thinks she's on top of the world. Dale Denton, of course, is like, she's always like, "Big sexy with glasses." He gets put in the back seat. He's like, "You believe me?" He's like, "Oh, I think I know who that bitch was." And she starts like,
I'll identify that bitch.
yeah, feeling that shit in the moment. Yeah, I'll identify that bitch. And then, of course, Saul trying to help out. Another underrated,
Ruins
funny
everything.
funny moment is she wrecks into him. He's like, "No, you should watch the road." And then his red Slurpee covers the window. And you can hear Dale just like, "What is that? What the fuck is that?" Which is hilarious to me because I can imagine being in the back like, "Is that blood? Like, what did we just fucking do?" And then out of nowhere, he's in the back, fucking handcuffed, like, no, Saul, do not, Saul. And then next thing you know, they're taking off, getting shot off. Like, I thought there was a lady
The
coming.
car chase is so funny. He can't see. He kicks through the windshield.
Oh, okay.
Gets
What
his
is the
foot stuck.
funniest scene in the movie to you?
What do you mean? There's.
Yeah,
When,
that's
all
hard
right,
to
I guess
pinpoint.
whenever
I have my pinpoint
whenever
right here.
they're
I
the
have to
cops are
ask this
chasing
here.
him, and
This
he
is
just
mine.
he just slams on the brakes, and the cop just slams on the brakes right
Yeah,
next
that's
to
the
him.
best shit.
He's like, "Why do you think that would work?" He goes, "I don't know."
Yeah, why I ask is because I wrote this down right here because this is I think this is the funniest scene. And I actually heard in like an interview that Rogan said this was a scene he saw like at his like, you know, they go to their previews and shit where people erupted the loudest. And he's like, just kick the window out. Isn't that what they do? And I was happy to be like, thank you. Like, this is the funniest shit ever. And he gets his foot. So he's like, oh, they could pull my groin. And he's like, well, take it out. He's like, I can't. And when they take it out of the car in the shot, it's just a fucking shoe. And they're like wrecking over the edge, dude. And he's over there. Like, what a great, like, just kick the window out. And like, nope, that's not how reality works, buddy. He's over there trying to drive
Fiberglass.
with one foot.
It's such a
And he's just
funny-
fucking swerving everywhere. And that also, of course, leads to what you're talking about. It sounds like a perfect idea. Just slam on the brakes.
The
And
cop
it's like,
go
movies all the
flying.
time.
and he's like,
Yeah.
just go, go, go. And then, of course, the person gets shot. He's like, sorry. And then they keep rolling. And what does Seth Rogen do? Of course, what I was talking about earlier, he's like, tree, squirrel. Like, he always yells out what's right in front of
Bring
him.
that up.
It's so fucking great, dude. So fucking great. So, of course, you got something you want to say
No,
real quick
I
for
was-
that?
Nope. Go ahead.
You get the classic split up scene you get in every movie. And a lot of times I can roll my eyes at this kind of shit. I'm like, my God, we've seen this a million times, but I love it in this movie. It works so great. It has Dale go, back towards red. You have Saul kind of go on his own. And there's the soundtrack kicks in again, of course. The soundtrack in this movie is so underrated, dude. Even if you don't like the music, it just flows so perfectly with it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say so. Too, and they weren't mad at each other for long either.
No.
It was a
Perfect amount of time.
It was a dumb reason to be mad at each other from the beginning, and then they make up and save the day, essentially.
100%. And then, yeah.
But you had the other breakup where Dale calls
Oh my gosh!
Angie,
Yeah.
and they break up.
Dude, that shit was funny. Man. He was so sure he wanted her back.
When he recalls
Changed
her
my
back,
mind.
Yes.
He's crying, saying he
Dude.
loves her and stuff, and then they
Yes.
start fighting. He's like, "Well, fuck you."
She's-
he says he's not dateable by anyone or something, and then she goes, "You're the immature one," and asked him when he lost his virginity, and she was like, "I lost mine at 14. How many girls have you
Really?
even slept with?" He's like, 2.5.
I couldn't
She's
count
like,
the
"Well,
other one.
Might have dipped a ball in or something. I remember. I'd feel like cheating if I said 3.
What do y'all
That's
think
sweet.
about Matheson and
Oh, they're
what's his
amazing.
name's chemistry?
Especially
dude.
Madison.
Good.
It's
I
like,
love
they're not
Craig
here,
Robinson.
Ted.
It's so
Hi,
good.
Ted.
Dude.
Bye, Ted.
Pulaski's always like,
Gotta-
dude,
seen
I
you
gotta go
rip it
home
dinner.
and meet my
For
wife
dinner.
for
Yeah.
dinner.
He's like, you want one more?
Like, you gone soft. That's what's happening.
I seen you rip the man's jawbone off. I synced it. I synced it. Dude, Matheson cracks me the fuck up in that movie. But how about when Seth Rogen, of course, the split up happens? He goes and Red is still alive. And he's listening to boom, 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 Bone Thugs in Harmony, Crossroads. Tell me what you gonna do. Really? Seriously? This was like the best song he could have been listening to, dude. Just chilling, not on the toilet, like armrests for the toilet. Just talk.
Had like the 2 wine coolers on the
Oh
toilet.
my God. He's just talking about like, you don't get it. He's gonna find me no matter what. I've been like super into Buddhism lately and I can come back. And of course Seth Rogen presents him with, he's just like, well, I mean, you can come back for that if you help out in some way, or you can come back as this, or like an anal bead. And he's like, what would you like to be, like a fiery dragon or whatever? He's like, well, the anal bead, depending on whose it is. He's like, it's my fucking anal bead. He's like, okay, the dragon
Definitely.
for sure. And then he fucking snaps out of it. Like, let's go fucking do it. He's got this little hole in the fucking wall. He's like, you mind picking up that bullet for like I shoot my fucking face off later when I'm vacuuming my floor? Which made me question some shit. I'm like, dude, if you hit a bullet with a vacuum, like, what's gonna happen there? Honestly,
anything will happen.
I don't think anything either. But I'm like, dude, those bristles, like, I don't know. It's a funny joke, but I'm like, what if we could like myth bust some crazy shit on
It's
that?
like one of the greatest suit up scenes too, with the
Thug
old guns and shit, getting them all
It's
locked
with
and
it.
loaded.
Yeah,
It's
but when
out
he
of
said that,
nowhere,
either way,
Seth
I'd dial
Rogen
out.
knows how to like load all these pistols and shotguns and shit.
He looks unsure of himself, but he's like, it's almost like he's like, I've seen this in movies. Let me see how this goes, dude.
So yeah, they drive to Ted's hideout, and then Red bails. He's like, I can't fucking do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I'm
My
sorry.
wife gets out of jail soon. And I want to fuck her.
No, I want to fuck her. I want to do it. Good luck, man. Heroes live on.
By the way, before we get to this scene, we forgot to mention, or I didn't hear you. Ted this whole time thinks that Denton is like in cahoots with the Asians.
Yeah,
So
I
like
was
this
gonna
whole
bring it
time
up
he's
later.
thinking that
It works now.
Yeah, the Asians are like
Essentially,
Dale's an assassin.
yeah.
to the
it's not
Asians.
just the cahoots. It's just in general. I love how that's something I brought up at the end. I love how they think they legitimately are these like upper echelon type people,
Yeah.
and they're really the biggest
Specialists or whatever.
dumbasses ever. And it really goes hand in hand. But as soon as Seth Rogen walks in there, his fucking plan melts down immediately. Like it takes. He comes in 5 seconds. He's like, "All right, everybody. Oh, okay. Take my gun." He's even like, "I got one on my leg. I know you'll find it." Like it just.
Dude,
Yeah, his
takes
plan went
no
sideways
time.
so quick because
I love-
Podlosky just shoots the dude.
We finally saw, and you had to see that savage side, and of course it sounds great. The ex-CIA thing to Ted. He's like, Denton comes in like a madman, shoots the whole place up. He's like, he's ex-CIA.
Dude,
Like, what is this Denton guy?
I love
Just a
whenever-
dumbass.
I love whenever Saul comes in with that gun and goes, "Fuck the police," and starts shooting and just starts shooting. Like he's never shot a gun in his life.
his
You
life.
can tell he just boom, 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 boom.
Oh, dude. Underrated, I think, thing, too, about this one. I love how Matheson, after he got hit with the fucking coffee pot. Like, somebody hit you with the coffee pot, man. When he's literally talking about slaughtering Saul in the worst ways possible before he puts him into that little hole. He's like, I'm going to kill your ass. I'm going to murder your ass. He's like, wait till Ted gets here. I'm going to kill you. He's like, watch your head. Like the way he says that, I know he's like, watch your head. It's like, what? Where did that come from? I don't hear enough people laugh when I watch that. I'm like,
I
it's
crack up.
yeah, it's just perfect the way he does it,
And
dude.
also when he calls him Mr. Folgers.
Oh, Mr. Folgers. Yeah.
That little line kills me.
What about when they're tied up
Oh,
in
dude,
that basement?
that's like the funniest scene to me in the
Yes.
whole movie.
And you know what the basement is, right?
It's the start of the movie. It took me like 2 or 3
It's the
views.
beginning of the
Okay.
movie.
That-
You can even
that's the
see
room where Private Miller
behind them, they have the
The-
little fucking, the bleep, bleep, blurp, blurp guys. You
The
can see
suit
the
was hanging
outfit is right there. And you even know when he's going down in the hole. It's the same thing in the beginning. So it all comes full
It
circle.
took me a couple watches to realize.
Yeah, and it seems like one of those things. Like it did me too. Maybe I was just high at the times. I think the first couple times I watched it, I was high. But like nowadays, like I'm like, how did I not see that the first time? It's point blank. But you'd be surprised how many people do not catch on to that. And that was so funny, just in general. That whole like Matheson coming in is like, we can hear you, right? He's like, you go this way, you go this way, all that. And of course, I'm gonna save you. He's like, get up here, I'm about
Save me.
yeah,
Save me.
Yeah, all that shit's perfect. And then, of course, Dale's just like, shoots his ear off. He's like, Dale, you okay? He's over here like, he's just like, I think it's maybe we can just put it on. He's like, He's like, and of course, Matheson's over there like, I don't like you. I ain't never been shot. He's over here acting like a bitch. It's like, come on, man. All the horrible things you've done.
And then the lady cop gets shot, and it's Saul and Budlowski. And Budlowski has a gun, and the cop's like, just shoot him, you idiot. And Budlowski's like, I'm hungry.
Just drops the gun.
I'm going home.
As a
And he
fitting
just
in for
leaves. He
him.
was just done. He's like, he had to get home to his wife.
I wanted
to eat.
him to make it to dinner.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I
me
really
too.
wanted him to
Matheson
make
had
it.
other plans.
100%.
That did shock me. That was a shock factor for me, is Matheson being the one to kill.
Budlowski.
Yeah, like I was kind of shocked
Yeah.
because I was like, well, in that relationship, if
gone
anybody
soft.
was to shoot anybody, I felt like Budlowski would be the one to just get tired of,
Matheson's
Harrison's shit, Matheson's shit, and fucking like that be that, kill him. But it was not. So
even the fight at the end with Ted Jones and Dale Denton,
I
I
love how
thought was
realistically
great.
stupid that fight was.
And they're
Just
pulling the
things they were doing. Just-
So shock
Nipple
factor,
twister.
Did you see Red coming back and killing Matheson that way?
That was
No.
amazing.
I was like, what?
Just runs
Oh,
on.
Ran
and then
the
he,
car in and fucking.
No, I didn't at
He
all.
blew his foot
yes,
off
the
with
front
the
of his
shotgun.
foot
That
off. It
kills
was
me, too.
amazing.
For no reason.
Yeah, just to add insult to injury, takes his fucking foot, dude. It's perfection.
And then after everything happens, they go to a diner,
Yeah.
and you just see how
Well-
beat up Red is.
Well, yeah, the barn blows up.
Oh yeah. the
Dale
Asians.
and Saul like get out of the barn, and then the barn explodes again and comes crashing down, and here comes Red.
So Red's dead
Fucking
again,
crawl-
right? Nope.
Red crawls out, and then then they go
You
to the
came back
diner.
for us?
And I think that's something that's hilarious. Is the whole movie like Red should have been dead 32
I mean,
times.
yeah, it's like I'm pretty sure bleeding out right now.
when
man.
you hit your head on the sink as hard as he
Oh,
did,
he'd be
that
dead.
would kill you. He gets shot like 7-8 times, and they bring it up at the diner at like the Denny's or whatever.
You got the neck brace. He said, I love when he's just like, they're talking about killing. He's like, yeah, it's just kind of like something you do. And, sometimes you get a taste for it. I did my part and I'm kind of good on it. He's like, yeah, I don't think I killed anybody. He's like, no, I heard you ran over someone, right? And then you shot. He's like, yeah, but he's already dead. And he's like, no, you ran over him. He's like, I guess I did kill somebody. Yeah, I did. He's like, but that's not for me. I dabbled in it and now I'm done. It's fan-fucking-tastic, dude. 100%.
I like the ending, how they ended it at the diner, kind of bringing it down a little from the action.
Chaos, if you will. There's
Yeah,
some
the
good
chaos.
action in this movie, low-key, too.
And then who picks him up from the diner?
Bubby!
I thought that was good, and I think it's funny that Dale goes to the diner in his underwear because he took his pants off
Yes.
because they were on
Yeah,
fire.
yeah.
He's just got his fucking jacket like tied around, not with it.
And
no
I
care
love
in
the
world.
music, too. Like, when they came out of that fire, it was like heroic music. That was low-key really good. I was in the moment. I was like, come on, get out. I'm like, this is a stupid comedy. Why am I into this that much?
Yeah, definitely epic. But,
Epic. All around.
What we got for scores on Pineapple
Well,
Express?
if one movie could have a sequel, it'd be this one.
It should, dude. And this is the end. I mean, I'm
Yes.
glad there's at least a little something. I need a sequel with these three. And I'm talking, they're split up a lot. Imagine a full-on sequel with all three of them together, like the whole runtime and something. They could do something special
it'd
with
be
this.
so
yeah, because
amazing.
Frustrating.
they're all friends, like in real life. where
Yeah, make
you,
it happen.
You see it in
You
the
have
movie, like
to.
their chemistry. Craig Robinson, Seth Rogen, James Franco, all those guys. Like, yeah, it'd definitely be a hit if they made
Amazing.
a sequel. But
It's
Tyler, what you
aged
got
very
for,
well.
for score.
My rating is an 8.8.
8.8. Rodney.
7.5.
7.5.
Really?
So I love this movie. I know it's not as good as my score that I give, but this score is for me. This is how much I love the movie. I give it a 9.5. Fucking love this movie.
Same thing Josh just said, and you might never see this again. 10 out of 10. Again, yeah, 10 out of 10. I only have so many of these to give around. Trust me. It's not like I have a top 100 that's a 10 out of 10 or a top 50 that's a 10 out of 10. I won't say the exact amount I have a 10 out of 10, but no, I won't even necessarily say that. But I don't have many. Out of all the movies in the world, it's a very small ratio. We just happen to be talking about them back-to-back weeks. And my God, dude, Pineapple Express is something special, man.
Tyler, plug that Instagram.
Instagram. Follow us at Official Box Office Banner, and follow us or subscribe to our YouTube page, Box Office Banner.
Brandon with
Yeah,
Facebook.
yeah. I didn't know if he was done. Yeah, Box Office Banner movies. We do the movies in all caps, and the 2 O's are also in all caps. Yeah, there's 2 O's in movies. There you go. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, and be looking for us on Spotify. We're
Yeah.
gonna try to have these episodes out on there, so go subscribe there, download them from Spotify. Thank you. We'll see you next week.
Oh, yeah.
Peep game, bruh.